Welcome from Nexus. In this chapter, we are diving deep into the essential rules of the road for any big data project. We're going to break down years of expert advice into a super clear set of do's and don'ts that'll help guide you to success.
You know, big data has this incredible, world-changing promise, right? It can revolutionize entire industries, predict what's next, and solve some seriously complex problems. But here's the thing. The reality is that road from potential to actual payoff is just littered with projects that didn't make it. The challenge isn't just about the tech. It's about strategy, it's about planning, and it's about knowing the common traps to avoid. So think of this explainer as your playbook to get it right.
All right, first things first, let's get this straight. The biggest, most critical failures in big data, they don't happen in the server room. Nope, they happen way earlier, in the planning stage, long before anyone has written a single line of code. It all, and I mean all, starts with a solid business-focused strategy. So, before you get all excited and start chasing after new, exotic data sources, the very first rule is to look inward. You have to conduct a really thorough discovery of the data you already have. You would be absolutely shocked to find out that your organization is probably sitting on a goldmine of information right now.
Now, this discovery process, it's way more than just making a list. It shines a big, bright light on the critical gaps in your knowledge. It shows you where you're wasting resources on duplicate data, and it forces you to ask the tough questions like, can we really trust this third-party data we're relying on? This is the foundation for everything else.
This right here, this is probably the single most powerful question you can ask your business leaders. It just cuts through all the usual limitations and encourages what people call blue sky thinking. The answers you get will point you directly to the data that could genuinely transform the business. And that becomes your North Star.
Okay, so once you know what data you have and you know what data you want, you need a plan for managing all of it. And that, my friends, is data governance. And let's be really clear about this. This is not just some IT task you can lock away in a back room. It is a core business function, every bit as vital as finance or HR. Think of these as the 4 pillars of a strong governance program. It's about having clear rules of the road, making sure someone is actually accountable for the data, and this is huge, ensuring everyone in the organization is working from a single trusted version of the truth. This foundation is absolutely non-negotiable before you even think about the technical phase. All right, so with a solid strategic plan locked in, now you can start making some smart choices about the technology that's going to bring your vision to life. This is where you get to build the engine for your big data machine. So the first technical do is to resist making assumptions. Don't just automatically think you need to go out and build a massive, expensive data center. The whole landscape has changed so dramatically, and the cloud offers some incredibly powerful, flexible, and honestly, often more cost-effective options.
You've really got to weigh the trade-offs here. I mean, building in your own data center gives you total control, but you're looking at high upfront costs, and it's much slower to adapt. The cloud, on the other hand, offers just incredible scalability with a much lower initial investment, but you are depending on your provider's performance and their security. The right answer? It's often a hybrid approach, tailored to what you specifically need.
Now, let's talk about a concept that is the true unsung hero of every single successful big data project: metadata. The best way to think about it is like the card catalog for your giant data library. Without it, you just have a chaotic mess of books and absolutely no way to find anything useful. The real magic, the power of consistent metadata, is that it basically acts as a universal translator. It's the thing that lets you take messy, unstructured data from, say, a social media feed and analyze it right alongside the super clean, highly structured data from your internal systems. And that is exactly why you have to plan for it from the very beginning. It just can't be an afterthought. Okay, we've talked about all the proactive steps you should be taking. Now let's flip the coin and talk about the critical don'ts. These are the common mistakes, the hidden traps that can completely derail even the most promising big data projects.
It's super exciting to suddenly have access to way more data at faster speeds than ever before. But that sheer volume and velocity, it can quickly overwhelm your systems if you haven't planned for performance management. It's a huge benefit for sure, but only if you can manage it effectively. This is a direct and really vital warning. If you don't build manageability and performance tuning into your roadmap from day one, you're not building a system for insight, you're just building a system for chaos.
performance is going to suffer. It's inevitable, and the project will fail to deliver any real value.
Look, as you gather more and more data, especially personal data, you are also gathering more and more risk. A data breach can be absolutely catastrophic for your reputation and your bottom line. Planning for robust security and respecting user privacy isn't just some compliance box to tick. It's an absolute necessity.
So here are two really powerful techniques to help protect that data. Anonymization is where you strip out any personally identifiable information. And tokenization is where you replace sensitive data, like a credit card number, with a random, meaningless token. This is brilliant because it lets you analyze patterns without ever exposing the raw, sensitive information. So what you should take away from all this isn't just a simple checklist. The real goal here is to adopt a whole new mindset, to see big data not as a one-and-done project, but as a continuous, strategic cycle of learning and improvement for your entire organization. The most successful companies out there, they get this. They understand that managing data is a journey, and it all builds into a pretty simple but really powerful framework. It becomes this holistic process that's just woven into the very fabric of how the business operates and makes decisions. And here it is. This 4-stage cycle is your playbook. You plan your strategy, you do the analysis, you check the results and test your assumptions, and then, most importantly, you act on that knowledge to create real business value. And this is not a straight line, it's a loop that you run over and over again, getting smarter with every single cycle. So in the end, success in big data really comes down to more than just having the fanciest tech or the biggest data sets. It's about building a culture of curiosity, committing to a really rigorous strategic process, and honestly, having the courage to ask those big, transformative questions. So, what is the next chapter? We'll explore where this journey can take us.